Hello and welcome to another episode of The Tipping Point, a UFC stat show right here on the Monkmatics channel. I am your host Monk, aka the Monkmatician, and in this series, we choose one fight from the upcoming UFC card, in this case UFC 267, and we break down all the stats for that fight. If you don't know which way to go, which way you're leaning, do I pick fighter A, fighter B? Hopefully by the end of this, we will tip you in the right direction. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Petr Yan going against Cory Sandhagen. This one is gonna be, it's gonna be so good. Bantamweight fight. 5'7" Petr Yan, 67-inch reach, switch stance fighter, 28 years old, 15-2 professionally. Let's see, 7-1 UFC. 53% of his fights in his career have gone the distance. 41% have ended by knockout win, and he does have one submission victory as well. Average fight time, 14 minutes in the UFC, a 16.43 ass whoop index. That is huge. 7th out of 77 bantamweight fighters in my database. A 1.34 power index. Again, huge. 12th highest in the division. 0.25 chindex, so not perfect, but not too inflated. Looking pretty decent there. Cory Sandhagen, significant height advantage, 5'11". Significant reach advantage, 70-inch. Switch stance fighter as well, 29 years old, 14-3 professionally, 7-2 in the UFC. 41% of his fights have gone the distance in his pro career. 35 have ended by way of knockout win, 3 wins by submission, and 1 submission loss. So Sandhagen getting finished once in his career, I believe by Aljamain Sterling, that Suvaev stretch, and then Yan never being finished in his career. Sandhagen, average fight time just over 9 minutes, very short for the division. 9.78 ass whoop index, very high. 15th out of 77, not as high as Petr Yan. Power index, 0.78, again, a very good number. And the perfect chindex, that's what you want to see, 0.00. Petr Yan opened minus 300, currently minus 250. Sandhagen opened plus 250, minus 201. That's just disrespectful. Sandhagen fighting out of Elevation Fight Team. Petr Yan out of RCC Academy. Let's see. This fight is 105. Minus 105 does not go to decision. Minus 126 goes to decision. I mean, they're not giving Sandhagen... I mean, plus 450 to win inside the distance. Plus 422 to win by decision. Come on. I'm capping this much closer than Vegas is. 56.5% for Petr Yan. 43.5% for Cory Sandhagen. I honestly don't know. I really want to put money on Cory Sandhagen here. I mean, plus 200 for God's sake. Some line statistics. Petr Yan is 7-1 as a favorite, 7-0 as a greater than or equal to 65% implied odds favorite. Never been an underdog in the UFC. Sandhagen, his underdog number is 1-1, and he's never been this big of a dog in his career. Or in the UFC, I should say. Some fight finishes in the UFC, 4 KOs by Petr Yan, 4 KOs for Sandhagen, and a submission as well. Some round-by-round finishing data, 3 first-round finishes for these guys, 4 second-round finishes. Basic striking data, Petr Yan lands 5.99 strikes per minute, and if I say strikes, I do mean significant strikes. That is the 8th highest in the division. 52% accuracy, just huge volume at very good accuracy. Gets hit with only 3.55 strikes a minute at a 62.5% defense, giving him a differential of 2.44 per minute. 7th highest in the division out of 77 fighters. 14.6% efficient, 8th highest number. He spends 78.29% of his total fight time fighting at distance. 9 knockdowns, giving him a 1.2 knockdown per 15 rate, 6th highest in the division for Petr Yan. That is insane. 9 knockdowns in 8 UFC fights. He has been knocked down 1 time. Let's see. Cory Sandhagen lands even more than Yan, 6.32 per minute at a 47.5% accuracy. Gets hit with 4.05 strikes a minute at a 59% defense. Another great significant strike per minute differential of 2.27, 8th highest in the division, right behind Petr Yan. Positive efficiency, spends 67.3% of his total fight time fighting at distance. Sandhagen lands 4 knockdowns of his own, giving him the 17th highest knockdown per 15 KD rate, 0.74. Never been knocked down in the UFC. Let's get on to basic takedown data here. This is all Petr Yan. I mean, he throws 3.2 per 15, lands over 2 of those at a 66.6% accuracy, 5th highest in the division. Has a 90.5% takedown defense, 9th highest. This is, 8 fights of going, 14 minutes a fight. That is fantastic. He stuffed 38 of 42 takedowns. And his opponents still shoot on him 3.95%. They are really trying. Takedown efficiency, 57. I mean, 3rd highest. Sandhagen attempts 1.5, 1.6 takedowns per 15, lands only 1.74, or sorry, 0.74. Sorry, I thought I kicked my water over here. 44% accuracy. He gets hit with 2 takedowns per 15 minutes, 65.6% defense. I mean, negative takedown differential as a positive takedown efficiency, but it's nowhere near Petr Yan. This is the thing that worries me here, is Petr Yan's ability to get takedowns and stuff takedowns. If I'm Cory Sandhagen, I mean. Basic control time data, 14.72% for Petr Yan, 7% against. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. Spends 21% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance, and he does control almost 68% of that fight time. Let's see here. Sandhagen getting dominated in this category as well. 13.75% control time for, almost 19% against. Spends 32.69% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance. Controls less than half that time, only 42%. Has a very good hold down time if he does get you on the ground, though. 167 seconds, almost 168. Couple submissions. 1 landed for Sandhagen, 1 of 3. He's an 80% submission defense rate. Advanced significant striking data. I mean, this is all Petr Yan as far as accuracy and defense. Sandhagen has a couple of offensive categories here, like distance strikes per minute, leg strikes per minute. But other than that, this is pretty much all Petr Yan, and it's not too close. I mean, he doesn't have great numbers here in a lot of categories, but a few of them are top 10. Advanced significant striking efficiency and differentials. I mean, look at this. Positive across the board for both guys. But Petr Yan with the better numbers absolutely everywhere. Head striking differential, 2.44 strikes per minute over his opponents. Almost, 3/4 of a distance strike there. Almost half a clinch strike. 1.27 ground strikes per minute over his opponents. That is a huge number. You do not want to be under Petr Yan when he's dropping bombs on you. Sandhagen, his numbers are really good too. Almost 2 strikes per minute. Head strike differential. Almost doubled up Petr Yan from distance, 1.36. Body and clinch are even. Leg strikes, 1/3 of a leg strike. Almost a full ground strike differential as well. So no slouch on the ground. Striking percentages, 83% of all strikes Petr Yan throws are targeted at the head, 13% to the body, 3.5% to the legs, 14, almost 15% on the ground. Huge number. Sandhagen, almost 80.5% of his strikes thrown are targeting the head, almost 10% to the body, and 10% to the legs. So pretty good at switching things up there. 13.3% from the ground, so right behind Petr Yan. There's the graphical representation of said strikes. And then we'll go into a last 5 breakdown. Petr Yan is 4-1, Sandhagen 3-2, and Petr Yan is killing it. I mean, look at all this green real estate over here. I mean, over 2 strikes a minute differential, 1.79 takedowns per 15, 10% control time, 14.65 ass whoop index, huge power index, and a existent but small chin index as well. Sandhagen, I mean, how do you keep up with those numbers? The ass whoop index is a little low. The negative takedown differential concerns me, and the negative control time differential concerns me for this fight. Categorical trends. Yan is trending up in half his categories and trending down in the other half. Not too much of a difference there. Sandhagen trending down in 6 categories. His takedown accuracy is down 44% in his last 5 compared to his career. Takedown defense is up 8.5% though. We'll move it along to strength of schedule. Petr Yan pretty much has this category here. Cory Sandhagen actually has the actual strength of schedule number, but it's by 0.25 points. Very, very close. We're very close on all these numbers here. I mean, virtually identical. But Petr Yan does kind of edge out some of these ratio categories. Like I said in the previous video, we have some amazing strength of schedules on this card for these fighters. I don't know if I've ever seen a card that has this many quality strength of schedules on it. I mean, usually a good one is 70 to 75. That's about where you want to be, 75. Anything below that is trash. Anything above that is fantastic. And we are above that in so many spots on this card. It is nuts. Petr Yan, here's how his fights break down. Lost to Aljamain Sterling. Jose Aldo, Uriah Faber, Jimmy Rivera, John Dodson, all 4 of his wins in his last 5. Winning by KO over Faber and Aldo. Sandhagen wins over Edgar, Moraes, and Asuncao. Losses to Sterling and Dillashaw. So they have common losses to Aljamain Sterling. Some graphical information here. Petr Yan killing it in striking, trending up, killing it in takedowns, trending way up, and he's killing it 3-1 in control time, trending up at a very steep rate. 3 very good graphs from Petr Yan. Sandhagen, a great striking graph. He's trending way up. You don't want to see your opponents trending up too much as well, but hey, what are you going to do? No takedown game to speak of, but his opponents are trending down. And then that control time leaves something to be desired. Opponents also trending down, though. So there is a plus side to that. Visual statistical recap. Look at all this real estate for Petr Yan. Just, I mean, in every category, he's dominating Cory Sandhagen here. I mean, fight finishing metrics, Yan never been finished. Cory has been finished by submission that one time. But Cory does have the better, or sorry, no he doesn't. I take it back. Cory does have the better sub index. Strength of schedule, like we said, pretty much even, with Yan barely edging it out. And then the aggregate win, loss, and finish rates. We'll just finish this up here. I kind of use these metrics to decide if I'm going to bet if this fight goes inside the distance or not. Usually if the wins and losses add up to over 100, I tend to start to think about it. Over their professional career, not even close. High winning percentage. Over 50% wins by finishes. Then you move up to the UFC and it does increase. We're at 64.29% of finishes in wins. And then 33% of finishes in losses. So that's almost 100% there. I don't know if this one's going the distance, boys and girls. I just don't know. I really want to bet Sandhagen here. Statistically, it doesn't look like I should. It really doesn't look like I should statistically, but I might just find a way. There's no way you can play Petr Yan at a plus or a minus 250. There's no way you can do that. In fact, that line's probably going to come down closer to minus 220, 230, I would assume, in the next few days. So I might have to jump on this Sandhagen plus 201. That I did these fight odds a few hours ago, so it might even be less than 201 at this point. But just for the sheer chance, I mean, those knees, those kicks, elbows, he's 4 inches taller, 3 inches longer reach. Yan is a bulldog, and I'm 60%, 70% sure he's going to win this fight, but that 30% for Cory Sandhagen is very, very enticing. Also, it is kind of what I want to see happen, so that doesn't help either. But my capping number is 56% to 43%, 44%, much closer than Vegas, so I might have to just take a stab. I might have to put a unit on Cory Sandhagen, maybe half a unit to win a unit. We'll just have to see about that. Anyways, guys, that has been the tipping point for Petr Yan and Cory Sandhagen. I really appreciate you hanging out with me for this 15 minutes or so. Be sure to check out the Islam Makhachev and Dan Hooker one. I also have videos breaking down all 9 prelim fights and all 6 main card fights. Be sure to check those out. Like and subscribe so you never miss one. I have tons of content coming out this week, guys. More than I ever have before. So be on the lookout for that. Picks videos, line odds videos, bets videos, all kinds of stuff. DraftKings video. So be on the lookout. Once again, thank you much. Please do your fight tape for Petr Yan and Cory Sandhagen. put it together with this, they complement each other so nicely, like a nice fava bean and a Chianti. So why don't you do that, make some money this weekend, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace out, guys.